What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Gamer Nation here on Smosh Games. Guys, let's jump right into this. We got a... Oh, hey! No Soinky today.
No.
Who's this?
It's like a hotter upgrade.
Oh,
Much more attractive.
You guys can call me so hinky though if you miss him that
No,
much.
that would be creepy and weird.
Yeah.
That would be creepy and
We
weird.
shall continue to call you Just V.
Yeah.
So thank you for being back here,
Oh.
guys.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
today-
I always love being here.
Yeah, today we're actually talking about what games we think will be like Game of the Year.
That's-
Like we have the VGAs coming up.
Yeah.
Who's going to be Game of the Year?
That's a big. This is a
Is
big
the
show.
question? Yeah.
I mean,
Is the question who do we want to win or who do we think is going to win?
You know what? A little bit of both. Like who we want. who we
Honestly,
think.
I kind of want Dishonored to win.
Ooh. Do you think that game will get overlooked because it's not a franchise?
Because it's not a franchise. It's kind of on the shorter side. It's a shorter game, and it didn't get a lot of marketing. Three things that I think are going to affect
true.
it. The marketing campaign, it was interesting what they did for it for marketing. They did those kind of like little webisodes, but I didn't feel like I was seeing advertisements for it like you would for like Assassin's Creed 3
Oh,
or
yeah.
some
Well,
of the
that was
bigger
all
games.
over the
You
place.
can't jump
Yeah.
onto YouTube and watch any video without seeing
Yeah,
like, the,
yeah,
Assassin's
yeah.
Creed.
It wasn't all over
Sure.
the place like those games. But honestly, for as short as it was just the right length for what it was, and it gave you a lot of options. It gave the player a lot of freedom. I like the stealth mechanics. I would love to see Dishonored win. I don't think it's going to happen, not by a
Right.
long shot.
If we're lucky, maybe a nomination.
Yeah.
It definitely
Yeah.
deserves
Yeah.
thus.
Well, it's definitely nominated for the Spike TV
Yeah.
Video Game Awards. It's
Oh, that's
definitely
good.
in that category.
I'd like to see it win something.
Yeah. Oh, it will win something. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I really feel like I have to kind of preface this year by saying there were just a lot of titles that I wasn't too impressed with this year compared to last year where you had Portal 2, Skyrim, Uncharted 3, Batman, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, like so many amazing titles to where I didn't know what I wanted to win. I mean, it was a hard decision.
It was very diverse
It was
also.
a very hard, yes, and it was hard to
It wasn't hard
to
for me.
pick.
Portal 2, bitches.
Oh, well,
Go
mine
on.
was Skyrim, but very close. Portal 2 and Uncharted
Yeah.
3, second place. But this year, I feel like, hands down, I know what my game of the year is, and it's The Walking Dead by Telltale Games.
The Walking
Yeah.
Dead was really impressive. I was a little worried because I'm like, all right, Telltale, they have kind of like more of a cartoony side. They have. Can their look and feel of a game work for Walking Dead? And just playing just after the first episode, I'm like, oh my god, this is
Right.
amazing.
Well, first of all, it does look great for just like a point and click, graphical action game. But what really makes that title stand out is the story. I mean, it doesn't really follow the comics or the TV show. It's brand new characters, and you see, guest appearances by characters that are in the comics. But the emotional journey that you take with these characters and the decisions that you have to make going through this, there really isn't a game out there like this to where your decisions affect what happens in the game, and your story will be different from my story.
Yeah.
The decisions that you make will be different from mine, and it's very emotional. And there were so many times where I was just like, oh my god, don't make me decide that. don't make me do that. And there's just nothing out there like it.
Yeah,
and I
well-
would like to say congratulations to Telltale for being nominated for Game of the Year with Spike TV as well,
Yeah.
and kind of showing that you don't need to be a huge, Activision or EA or have like billions of dollars to make a fantastic game, because they did a great job. Yeah, and so I'm very excited for the future of gaming.
Yeah, like they've always put out great games. They have their fan base, but seeing what they did with Walking Dead, I would love to see them like just continue in this trend. Like maybe what's the next franchise they could do?
Right.
Get their
Well,
hands on.
and the fact that the 5th episode isn't even out, and they were still nominated for Game
nominated,
of the Year. And it's just kind of like, for fans who haven't gotten that review copy, it's like, if that were me, I would be like, what is it? What happens in the end of this game that was allowed, was able to give this game a Game of the Year nomination without that 5th episode?
That's the
being
mark
out.
of a good game, is that players want more of it. Can't wait to see what comes next. What about you, Joven? What do you like for...
You know what? There's so many great games that came out this year. Looking at some of the franchises, you had Assassin's Creed, you had Halo, you had Call of Duty. Personally, I was really, really happy with Halo 4. Like the game, like you waited so long, you haven't played as Master Chief in years, and so just to kind of step in the boots, it became such like a visceral experience of just awesomeness all over the place. Like it was exciting, it was fun. There's moments where you're going through the game and you're just gunning everyone down. And you're like, I'm Master Chief, bitches. Eat my
back!
bullets.
I'm back, mofo. Yeah.
And plus, I love everything that 343 did with the multiplayer.
Yeah. I think the multiplayer, I think they finally come back and have overtaken Blops now
I think
as
so.
the premier multiplayer shooter.
And I do understand that Halo, like, there's some stuff in there that's very, it reminds you of the Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Like, you have like your loadouts, you have like the point system. I get that, but it just works in this atmosphere so well. And I don't know. Easily best Halo game, possibly game of the year.
But that's the thing I think that separates them from the Call of Duty is they are willing to go in there and change up their game and change up their format drastically.
Yeah.
Whereas the new Black Ops is kind of, I mean, you know, obviously the kill streaks and stuff are different, but in a lot of ways they are playing it safe.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's interesting that people are saying, you know, Halo, I've always thought this was interesting. People saying Call of Duty is better than Halo or vice versa. They're two completely different games, two completely separate worlds. One is fantasy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like
Oh no,
aliens
they're
and
two
bunny,
separate worlds.
Bunny jumps
but they are two multiplayer shooters.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, why pick those two against each other? I mean, there's so many
they're
other
like
multiplayer.
the biggest two.
They are,
Yeah.
but still, I just
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
actually a really good
that's
point.
a good point. They are very different games.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good point.
So it's like people who try to compare Star Wars and Star Trek just because they both take place in space
And have the word
doesn't-
star in
and
them.
have the word star in them
That's
doesn't
true.
mean you can compare them to. They're
Yeah.
completely separate entities.
I feel like as long as any two games are in the same genre, you can go ahead and compare them. I don't feel like it's like an
Okay.
illegal move, but
All right.
but yeah, the settings are very different.
Yes,
and
I will compare Grand Theft Auto to the Wild Wild West.
Red Dead Redemption.
you totally should. We got to go to Ian and Anthony, I think, via Smoshbot. Let's see what they have to think.
All right. Best game of 2012. What would you say?
For me, it was Mass Effect 3. I mean, I would even go as far to say best game of the entire generation of everything.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like the series in general, it was like you can't look at it. You can't look at it as just like one game. You have to look at it all three games. Well, the problem is because when the first Mass Effect came out, it was like 2006 or something. And so I forgot about all the stuff because every like action that you do carries over to the next game. And I forgot what I did in the first game when I was going to the third. So like I was playing some stuff in the third and I was like, why is that? Oh, I guess I killed that guy. And then, yeah. So I have like two different playthroughs going through, but
That's funny.
Yeah. Mass Effect 3 kicked ass. Ending was, but you know, the haters.
I think the best game of 2012 hasn't even been released yet.
Ooh.
I am just so excited for Wii U. I think that everything. I think the first time I turned that system on, it's
You think that every
magical.
game? You think every game on there is going to be the game of 2012?
I think just as a whole, I think, you know, a lot of the games are ports, and a lot of them might not be.
Mass Effect 3 is also coming into Wii U,
I will actually play it then.
but you won't get any of it.
It doesn't matter. Either way, just getting a new system for the first time is just magical, and I just can't wait for that experience again. So the Wii U as a system, as a console, game of the year, that doesn't make sense. Whatever.
A Mass Effect
Deal with
game
it.
of all time.
All right, cool. So there's Ian and Anthony for you with their games of the years.
Yeah.
Game of the year, not years, not really a plural thing. But hey, let's go to you guys now, because here on Gamer Nation, we like to bring you in. We want to hear your voices from our Gamer Nation. So actually, first up, we've got from Misfit Krista, spelled with a Z, Assassin's Creed 3, and I really like Resident Evil 6. Like we mentioned earlier, Assassin's Creed 3 had great marketing. You actually reviewed the game.
Yes, I loved it.
It was fun?
I loved it. Yeah. I don't know. Dishonored just eked out a little bit above it because I really liked the powers and abilities and the level of choice I had. But Assassin's Creed was a great game as well. As far as open world games go, it blows a lot of games out of the water with just the huge world, bears wandering around, you're getting attacked by stuff. It was definitely a great game.
Revolution.
Yeah, the American Revolution.
And Resident Evil 6, personally, one of my favorite Resident Evils so far. So I agree with you, Misfit.
Yeah.
Moving on to Will F. Bradbury. Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Now, I know this is a game that you've actually been playing a little bit of.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. You guys find it on Steam. You actually it's a first-person slasher, so
Mm-hmm.
FPS. It's brutal. There's heads flying. This is what it's like to be at night.
Yeah, that's a fun one too.
Then at DJ Terrell says, hashtag Max Payne 3 by far. So Inky, who's not here, would definitely agree with you. He's a big fan of the franchise. And last but not least, agreeing with me is at Unfragmented saying Halo 4. So the players in our Gamer Nation are pretty all over the place. Like there's not really just one game that kind of conquers this year, which makes these awards that much more interesting to see who's going to take what.
It will be interesting. Yeah.
So there you go, guys. That's it from all of us here at Smosh Games on Gamer Nation. We love you. You love us. Leave some comments down below. Guys, we'll see you next time.